Welcome to the ThunderCast, your martial athletics podcast produced by the fans, for the fans, with your hosts, Russ Livingood and Jed Horton. We're bringing you the thundering word on the thundering herd each and every week, so keep it right here, because the ThunderCast is on the loose. Welcome back to another episode of the ThunderCast. I'm back in the saddle with Jed over here, and we're going to run through our usual 5 things every herd fan needs to know this week, brought to you by Ignite Link, and have Layer 1 Solutions take us around the herd to get everything that happened, the results from last week, and what we have coming up this next week. Before I get into all that, Jed, welcome back. We're back in the swing of things every week now. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, glad to be here. I'll be interested to know if we have a true 5 things this week, or if we're going to have 15 things this week. So
you never truly know until I drop the hammer on how many we're going to have, but I'll get to that in just a minute. Anyone listening, please, if you're on your favorite podcast streaming site, if that's Spotify or if that's Apple or something else, please make sure that you subscribe, like, follow. And if you're watching along on YouTube or listening on YouTube Music, also a thing that you can do, make sure that you follow, like, subscribe on there as well. You'll get notified every time that we bring out some new content. But Jed, before we get started in this episode and get to the 5 things, let's get a word from our sponsors at Leasure Oliver PLLC. If you've been hurt in a wreck, call the law firm of Leasure Oliver PLLC. Found them at 304carwreck.com. All right, Jed, you asked the question, and I'll tell you, this week it is a true 5 things. Okay. We have 5 things for you, not 15, not 11 like we had last week, not crazy number, not 23. There's always a lot that goes on with these, but thanks to Ignite Link, which is Jed's company, here are our 5 things every herd fan needs to know this week, and we'll thank Ignite Link for that. And now, here are at least 5 things every herd fan needs to know this week. As always, brought to you by Ignite Link, the Tri-State's premier IT management team. Jed, we're going to start off with something here, and I'm going to set you up. It's going to be a T right in the T box here. 4 athletes from swim and dive have been named to the College Sports Communicators, or CSC, Academic All-District Team. That's Madeline Hart, Audrey West, Grace Kelsheimer, and Molly Warner. Jed, you're not KD, but what is this?
I say this occasionally, Russ, that I don't give KD, I don't do him justice on the show, but I would know what he would say on this one. Differentiator right here.
It is a differentiator. You know, we talk about our athletes on the field, in the pool, on the court, and we also talk about them in the classroom, and that's something that I'm always proud of when we get to share this info. And these athletes, week in, week out, have been named to some of these lists, but for getting named to the all-district team, to do that, you have to have 3.5, and you have to have some success in the pool as well. So that is huge. But all 4 of these athletes have also qualified to go on to the next level. So the not just district, but the bigger region of that. We will know pretty soon if that happens. And of course, we're going to share it with you on here. But man, we talk about all the time, maintaining a 3.5 for your run-of-the-mill standard everyday student is impressive. It's pretty good. But to juggle the schedule that these athletes have to do, the practices, the meets, the travel for the meets, all this stuff, and to bring home not just a 3.5, I think this is the team where you can say who got the B. You know, it's like
Right.
women's golf, swim and dive. They're always up there near the high threes, sometimes 4.0s in their semesters. So just crazy impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And the word you used earlier was proud, and I think that's every herd fan should be proud of these students and these student athletes because, like you said, the effort it takes and the work that they put in. Having a personal life when
Mhm.
when you're in season isn't a thing that's happening
That's right.
because it's school, workouts, events, like you said, man. So big shout out, and I think we need to continue as we do point these things out because this that's the reason why they attend Marshall University,
Mhm.
right? Is
Yep.
to get the education, get the good grades. If they can go on athletically somewhere, that's
Mhm.
awesome. We want to see that happen. But a lot of these student athletes graduate and get careers and jobs, and they're setting themselves up for success, whether it's in the pool, in the classroom, or their future career. So, very proud of these athletes.
Yeah, I can never remember what that exact percentage is, but the Sun Belt has that commercial that you hear all
Mhm.
the time, and it's something like 98% of these student athletes will go pro in something other than their sport.
Yeah,
And what they mean is they're going to be a professional out in the work force using their degree and not going to the NFL or not going to the NBA or not going to the Olympics and not becoming a professional athlete in any number of ways. And here's why KD calls this a differentiator. We have parents listening right now and watching right now, and they're going to tell you, hey, my athlete is there, and that makes me feel good that there's these programs that are in place, the Buck Harless Center, all the different things that they have, the tutoring, the working with the professors so they can not miss when they're having to travel for their meets and their away games. All of this, just the entire package, shows that Marshall takes education seriously. So, prospective athletes looking to come here, it's a differentiator for them. Parents getting ready to send their prospective athletes somewhere, it's a differentiator for them. So KD's right. We joke about his use of that word because it became a running joke because he always called it a differentiator, but he's 100% right.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, number two, softball is up to 13th in the D1 softball mid-major top 25. I believe it was 17 last week, is what I
Mhm.
said. 13 this week. They had an impressive week, which we're going to talk about in Around the Herd. Um, let me get your thoughts, and then I have a thought.
Yeah, so no, that's great. And it's that's what you want to see out of your softball program. It's what you see out of any program, right? Is getting that recognition and climbing that way, up the ladder, so to speak. You want to establish wins, especially at this point in the season, as you're in the meat and potatoes, so to speak, of your schedule and of conference play. This is exactly where you want to be. You want to be climbing the ladder. You want to be winning games, and because importantly, most importantly, we want to win championships, right? So, this is setting it up, for that. So that's hey, I love to see it.
Yeah, I love to see it too. Here's my beef. They're 13th. Would you care to guess, unless you've seen the graphic, unless you've seen the rankings, would you care to guess who is eighth on these D1 softball mid major rankings, top 25?
Mm, I would not know that. Eighth.
Well, it's going to come into play later because we're going to discuss
Mhm.
it in Around the Herd, but
Okay.
we just beat them 2-1 in the weekend series, and it's Texas State.
Texas State. Okay. Yeah.
Texas State,
Yeah.
who we just beat, and again, we'll talk about each of these individual games that we played when we get to Around the Herd. But we just beat them, and they're ranked eighth, and they were ranked
Mm.
higher than that last week, and I can't remember what it was. But to me, this is people looking at, oh, they have a great record. They were, I think, 20-8 or something like that
Mhm.
going into this weekend. So these voters are going, hey, great record. Well, look, we played Oklahoma twice. We played a top 10, a top 15. I think I said it before. It was like 5 games that we had played ranked opponents, highly ranked opponents, all of them on the road. I don't know what Texas State's schedule is. I'm not taking
Right.
anything away from Texas State. I think that it's great to say that they're a good program when we just beat them. I never like to say,
Right.
oh, they're scrubs or anything like that. They are a good program, but we just beat them. I think that we are clearly better than them, and they're ranked 8th and we're ranked 13th. So that's just a little beef that I have with that. Just a nitpick because you always want to see yourself, like you said, your team's ranked high. I just personally think that we could be ranked better than them.
Right. No, and I get that too. And I know, believe it or not, Russ, I think we might be homers a little bit, but
No. I mean, look at all this stuff.
as an unbiased outside observer to this, I feel like there have been times where we can think across multiple sports where we feel like it's not been, our ranking hasn't been really justified, and it's like we have to prove and prove and prove and prove before we get the love from these committees ranking teams, and it sounds like that's kind of where we're at. We're going to have to just shove it down their throats a little bit more and kind of force them to, let's go win this. Let's go win the Sun Belt championship, and they can't deny us after that.
Well, you mentioned the Sun Belt. Of those 25 mid majors that are listed on there, 4 are from the Sun Belt, including the 2 that I just talked about. Coastal Carolina is also ranked up there highly, and ULM is ranked in the top 25. So we have Coastal coming up that we get to play them. If we beat them, we just keep taking care of business, keep winning series. Keep doing what we need to do. I think that will climb. But again, it's a nitpick when I say that we should be ranked higher. Of course, I'm always going to say that, right?
Of course.
Number 3, more good news. Zane Mingo and Jalen Spear both announced they will return for men's basketball. Last week, that was Wyatt Fricks announced that he was coming back. So we have 3 now contributors out of our probably top 6-7 rotation that have said they're coming back.
Well, I'll tell you, that's good news. If you're a Herd basketball fan, that's good news. Now, we can talk more about basketball in future episodes, but there's definitely some work to be done in the portal. There's definitely some recruiting work that needs to be done since we're losing some people. But
big time pieces.
I was very impressed with how both Mingo and Spear grew throughout the season.
Same.
Like watching them develop. I mean, we heard everything about new coach and these players, and what the predicted record was going to be, and those kind of things. But as the season went along and this team started to gel, both Mingo and Spear were very crucial for us winning certain games, especially down the stretch. So, very impressed with these 2. I'm very excited that they're back. It means there's fewer pieces that you have to plug in the off season, and they're only going to get better. I have no doubt.
Yeah, we talked last week about Wyatt Fricks, and I said he had been maybe even unfairly a lightning rod. These 2, I don't think, have gotten much of the lightning rod about their contributions. Here's what's coming back. Just like with Fricks, I said this is people that are familiar with the program. They're familiar with how we do things here. They're familiar with the offense. They're familiar with the defense. Both of them play out front. And Wyatt Fricks is kind of like a swing forward to guard, just depending on where he needs to be playing. 12.6 points a game, 4.7 rebounds a game, and 5.2 assists a game for Zane Mingo. And then Jalen Spear, 10.8 points a game, 2.2 rebounds a game, 2.5 assists per game. You also feel like with Michael Dawson graduating and then our 2 forwards that are graduating, Obina and Nate Martin, that we are going to probably lean on these two a little bit more in their second year with the herd, I would figure. So you can't just plug these numbers in and bump them up or
Right.
whatever. But I think that, it's not unheard of to think that, here's 23.4 points a game that's coming back. Yeah, you could probably bump that up and say you can guarantee about 26, 27 a game out of these two coming back. It's certainly a good starting point, I think.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's you got something to build from,
Yeah.
and you plug in some pieces, and I think we can. You can see. Obviously, we want better performance. We want to go further in the tournament. We want to have a higher seeding. We
Mm-hmm.
want all those things,
Mm-hmm.
but you're setting yourself up for not slipping backwards and actually building on the success of this past season. So I
Yeah.
think that's good. That's a good start right here.
Yeah, losing 3 starters, that's and 3 productive starters. That's going to be tough, and we do need some portal work. We have some on the bench that look to take on bigger roles, and I think that they, now that they have a year under their belt, will be able to do so. But you're right, we've got some work to do in the portal. I think that has already taken shape. We don't discuss rumors on here until they're fact, but it looks like we're going to see a few of those pieces trickle in here soon, and we can start to build our roster.
Yeah.
Number 4, tight end Justin Holmes has entered the transfer portal. So, like we have said, the portal goes both ways, and here we have one that we're losing from football. I do feel like this is the first of not many, but several that we are going to see enter this spring. He's a little earlier than I thought, but our first one that I have seen entering the portal is tight end Justin Holmes.
Yeah, you're gonna. We've talked about this before, Russ. This is the nature of the beast. Players will come and players will leave, and with the era of the portal, you're gonna, and you'll see more probably after the spring enter. And then, but what that means is, we're going to recruit, we're going to bring more in for the fall. So, you hate to see people leave, but it's part of the nature of the game at this point.
Yeah, and much like I mentioned last week when we were talking about Kyson Pruitt with basketball, this is no slight to Justin Holmes. It's just not a lot of production stats that are going to be leaving. He came over here from, I'm thinking it was Akron. No, it's Kent State. But he was used as a blocker. So these are things that you're not going to see, like, 25 catches, 5 touchdowns. When he was in, he was a blocking tight end. So this is no slight to him when I say what we're missing. He caught 1 pass for 11 yards. It's not a lot that we have to replace. But when we were in 2 tight end sets, 3 tight end sets, goal line, special teams and stuff, he was a contributor. So again, this is no slight to him. It's just this is not one of those that we're saying, how are we going to replace 40 receptions? How are we going to replace 20 receptions? And we did bring in quite a bit in the portal, and some of them probably fit this offense a little bit better because of their kind of hybrid ability. I'm thinking of Antonio Harmon. He's probably going to be a wide receiver, but he played a lot at wide or tight end, and you have the ability to put him out there at tight end and really be a mismatch. And Holmes was more of that traditional tight end, dependable, great blocker, good hands. He just did not feature in last year's passing attack at all.
Right. Yeah.
But again, I do not think this is going to be the last time that we're going to be talking about players entering the football transfer portal before the summer.
Yeah, no, I agree. Unfortunately, and maybe fortunately, because we've the portal giveth and the portal taketh away. So
Yeah, and sometimes we just need to open up roster spots, and I think that we probably are there with the number that we brought in. That we're going to have to whittle it down a little bit. So there's going to be some attrition. You just don't know from who by who, but we will probably be seeing that soon with the spring game coming up. And that brings me to number 5 and our final thing. The spring game timeline has been released. I'm going to go over that. This is Saturday, April the 12th. Starting here, it says 8 a.m. Wake up, it's game day. Well, I'll be up probably around 5:30 because I've got 3 kids and 2 dogs. But I appreciate them thinking that I may be able to sleep in till 8 o'clock and get everything over to my tailgate by 9. I think it's more likely I'm going to be at the tailgate by 8 o'clock. But good on them for thinking we might be able to sleep in. 9 a.m. parking lots open. 11:30 a.m. spring fountain ceremony. They just announced today former player Jesse Smith will be the keynote speaker of that. I encourage everybody to make it down to the spring fountain ceremony and then come back to the tailgate lots afterwards. 2 p.m. gates open. 2:52 the team takes the field. 3 p.m. is kickoff, and just like has been discussed already on this show on previous episodes, the first half is going to be a live game. The second half is going to be fan day. So the athletes and coaches will be on the field, probably more athletes than coaches, but the fans will have the opportunity to go get to know the team, get some photo opportunities, autograph signings, take the kids down there, that sort of thing.
Okay. No, that's really good. So if you haven't made your plans and bought your tickets, you should have bought your tickets already. But if you haven't bought your tickets, buy your tickets. $5 a ticket. There's an amazing tailgate spot that's going to be down on the lot. Mm-hmm. Of course, you got like you mentioned, Russ, you got the fountain ceremony. Mm-hmm. You've had plenty of time to block off this day and prepare for a fun day full of food and some Marshall football. So, Russ, I'll be there, of course.
Yep.
And hopefully, I'll be bringing some people with me as well. And if you have, like I said, if you haven't bought your tickets yet, buy them. Come on down. Have a good time with us. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah. Jed mentioned it. $5 is your ticket that gets you in. Students, it's free. So students are going to get to go for free. They'll just be showing their student ID or getting a student ticket that won't cost them any money before the game. If you purchase a ticket, and if you are a Big Green member, and you don't have to be $1,000 a year member, a $10,000 a year member, a $100 a year member. If you are a Big Green member, and those start at $5 a month, $60 a year, and you buy a ticket for this game, every single ticket that you buy is an entry into a giveaway by the Southside Suites for a stay of 2 nights. And those are not restricted by anything other than, is it open when these dates that I want? If it is, you get to lock it in. So that's a $400 value. And if you look at, that's $400 staying here at the Southside Suites, which is actually where I'm shooting this right now. But if you look at hotels may be $300 a night for whatever night you pick. So it can be even more of a value really to you. And last thing I'll say about that, and I'll turn it back over to you. It's 1,100 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 2-story apartment, and use of the yard, patio, grill over on Huntington's South Side, hence the name Southside Suites. You can find it on Facebook. You can look at our out-of-towners link over on ThunderCast.Online. It's got a page over there, but I wanted to do something to try to get people to buy tickets, and I think this is a pretty decent incentive. So if you're coming to the game, KD said it last week, buy an extra ticket. That's just an extra chance that you get that you may win this door prize. but buy a ticket and give it to somebody, and maybe you'll make a herd fan. It's $5, and you may make a herd fan's day. You may make them get more pumped up for this season, and maybe they return the favor next year and they buy one for themselves and then somebody else, and so on and so on. But the important thing is, let's pack the Joan.
Yeah, absolutely. Get aiming for 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Would love to see it happen. So yeah, $5. That's it. That's all it takes. $5 and free food.
That's right. If you want to get a tailgate spot, we'll be there again tailgating. But if you want to park inside the west lot, it's $20. And so $20 per parking spot that you want to get. They will be checking as you come in for your parking pass. You can also get a digital parking pass if you don't want the mirror hanger. But whatever it is, go to 1-800-THE-HERD on your phone. Go over to the ticket office, or you can go to herdzone.com and go to the tickets and buy your tickets there. But get your spring game tickets, get your parking pass if you need it, enter for a door prize. Nothing you have to do except for buy that ticket and be a Big Green member. You don't have to fill anything out. You don't need to like the apartments page, follow it, anything like that. Just buy your spring game tickets, and the ticket office will do the rest by randomly selecting a Big Green member that bought tickets. Well, Jed, that does it for a very good, I feel like, 5 things. We had one negative of someone entering the transfer portal, and everything else was some pretty cool news or accomplishments by our herd athletes.
It's very positive, Russ, and
very positive.
And even after the short week, and I think it's now up to 30 things all herd fans need to know this week from the last week.
Yeah.
Even with all those things, there's always something going on.
Always.
Marshall Athletics, and good solid 5 things.
Well, thanks again to Ignite Link for bringing us those 5 things. And now, Jed, let's take it around the herd. And now, Layer 1 Solutions, your experts in business connectivity infrastructure, takes you around the herd.
All right, Russ, we've got quite a few things to discuss today and around the herd. And we're going to start with tennis.
Mm-hmm.
They blanked ULM 4-0 on Friday. Then they beat Arkansas State 4-1 on the road on Sunday. And they are going to be hosting Georgia Southern Friday at 2 p.m. And then they're going to be hosting Coastal Carolina Sunday at 10 a.m.
Yep. Been on the road for 2 different meets, and now they're coming home for 2 meets this weekend. Last I saw, they were still number 67. I don't know if that's going to adjust yet. It may have come out and I've missed it on where they're at, but again, still staying in the top rankings up there. Sweep of ULM. They won the doubles point, of course, with sweeping. And then after that, they were up on the other ones that were unfinished. They could have gone on theoretically to a 6-1, 7-0 type beatdown of ULM, but we won when it got to 4, and they didn't finish all the singles matches, but just rocking and rolling. And then Arkansas State, more of the same. So box score on that one, I don't know if it would show me here. Yeah, we won the doubles point on there. Didn't even get to finish that. And then we were up again on the others that are unfinished. Again, more of the same. We ended up getting our 4 points, secured the victory, but looks like we could have won another couple of matches there. We were up when that was called. So looking forward to seeing a couple more hopeful victories this weekend, and maybe getting back into that top 50 thing. But again, Georgia Southern and Coastal coming to town, they are not ranked ahead of us that I'm aware of. But anytime you can add some more victories, it should help with those rankings and move up.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had those. It's been kind of like this year.
Yep.
And if we can kind of keep
Yep.
keep winning, keep performing, keep that ranking going, it's going to be good.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and move over to women's golf. They finished 10th out of 16 at the Golf Week Stifle Women's Spring Challenge. Abby Bull led Marshall with a tied for 26th finish.
Yeah. They were moving up on the final round. They had a better final round, and they moved up a little bit. I think it was a spot or two. But again, you look at these scores, in the leaderboard, and every team was above par. So it's not like, when you're looking at what we're talking about next with men's on crazy low scores and everything, but we had a good, final round to move up. You just want to see a little more, like we talked about last week, more consistency, that we're able to not just have this great round, but you put together 3 good rounds, or 2 really good rounds, and then 1 not so bad, just an off round, to help us get a little bit higher on the leaderboard. And that's both with the individuals and for the team itself. All 5 golfers, or all 4, however many in each individual tournament they are having for that particular tournament. But good showing, 10 out of 16. It's up in the middle of the pack, lower middle. But like to see them, get back to golfer of the week and top 5 in these tournaments.
Absolutely. And we're going to go ahead and move over to men's. They did a little bit better at the same event, but for the men's challenge, they finished 7th out of 17 at the event. Shooting 9 under for the tournament.
Yeah.
Clayton Thomas, he led Marshall. He was tied for 14th place at 4 under.
Yep.
And right behind him was GF Aber at 3 under.
Yep.
And so they did. Those guys did a little bit better. This a little bit higher, more middle of the pack, like you said.
Yeah. So if you followed along on Herd Zone or saw it on social media, we were actually tied after round 1 for first overall as a team. And JF Aber was right up there. I think that's when he was 5 under on the first day. So everything was looking great. And you're like, hey, maybe we get out of here with a victory on this. And maybe Aber wins the whole thing. And then rounds 2 and 3 just seemed to, not the wheels fall off. It just seemed to be not that crazy pace that we had from the first round. Aber was 5 under after the first round, and he finished the entire tournament at 3 under. So, he just could not keep up the pace he was at. Joseph Kolaski did good in the second round to lead the herd, but it seemed, again, not any one golfer put together their best first round, second round, third round to be able to do some big damage. But tied for 14th and then 15th overall for Aber. That's really good for Clayton Thomas and JF Aber. Even with those setbacks for not having the best round and shooting over par for a round or two, ended up highly impressive. 9 under for the entire team. That's I'll take that.
Right. Oh, for sure. And like you said, it's that consistency.
Yeah.
See a little bit more consistency game to game. You're going to keep working up. I mean, they've got the talent, obviously, after first round. The talent's there. It's keeping that game consistent.
Everybody I mentioned there has the ability and has been mentioned before of leading a round or leading an entire tournament or things like that. So yes, we do have that talent. It is just putting it all together.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump over to volleyball. They had a spring scrimmage against Eastern Kentucky. There weren't any results announced that that we could find.
Mhm.
But they will be hosting Fairmont State and Morehead State on Saturday with the first match at 11 a.m.
Yep. So I went to one of the, I think it was last year that I went to one of these days, and it was one of those volleyball is here at this time. I think maybe it's 2023. But volleyball was here, and then they had another event, and then they had fan day for football. So I went to one of these, free to get in if it's still that way. It's a good event to take the kids to. It's a scrimmage. They don't really publish the scores and things like that, but they get to see how the new pieces fit together, play as a team, work on some things. And usually it's localish schools. These two that are coming up, both are within about 2.5 hours of us. Fairmont State being the furthest away. Moorhead's just right at an hour away. Eastern Kentucky is probably 2.5 away from us as well. Um, so so it's a good thing to do. If you got nothing to do Saturday morning, head on over and watch a little volleyball. Support the girls. Check out that tracks court. I can't remember the exact name of it, but we bought it for the volleyball, so it's more like exactly what we play on come tournament time, and it helps preserve knees and it gives you a little more cushion and everything, and also helps preserve our basketball floor that's underneath it. But get on over and watch a little volleyball this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to jump on over to track and field.
Okay.
Um, we saw some good results at the Raleigh Relays with several personal bests
Mm-hmm.
and, wait for it, a school record.
Yep.
We'll head to Tennessee on Friday and Saturday for the Tennessee Invitational.
Yeah. So that record, if you remember, it was a 4x100. We talked about two different teams, coming in. One beat it, and then the other one beat it
Right
as
behind them.
well. They were right behind them, photo finish, but both of them had beaten the record. Well, it went down again, and they lowered it even further. It was 40.93, I think,
Mhm.
and the other was 40.95. And the team of Joey Blowbomb, Samari McCord, Jonathan Owusu, and Chris Swint raced a 40.89. So they lowered it even further from what they had done. Yeah, here it is. Last weekend, Blowbomb, McCord, Wyatt Milhone, and Isaiah Valentine raced a 40.93. So again, that's it wasn't the same team, but it
Mhm.
was two members from Team A and two members from Team B, as I understand it, that both broke the record. Now they got it together and they lowered the record even further by another 0.04 of a second. Other personal records included Tyler Cloud, 400-meter hurdles, McCord in the 200, and Kazuma Bowring in the 800-meter race. Um, Tyler Cloud ran a personal record of 54.96 in the 400-meter hurdles, and he's now in the top 8 uh, rankings in the Sun Belt. Bowring's personal record, and he's on here a lot. When we talk about the results, so
Yeah.
he's not someone new to the herd track and field. 1 minute 50.51 seconds in the 800 meters. Currently sits third in the Sun Belt and is now second in school history. So again, uh, seeing the scoring results, personal best, setting records. It's just more that you like to see from herd track and field cross country. They're doing it all the time. We talk
Mhm.
about them here all the time. Just really moving the program forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I swear it's been every week, Russ. Every time we do a five things or an around the herd,
Yeah,
somebody's doing a personal
so
best, beating a personal
somebody's breaking
best,
a record.
breaking a record, doing something. So that's good. We're going to jump over to women's soccer, and as I'm reading this, Russ, it sounds like I'm noticing a trend here. This is Marshall Women's Sports Weekend coming up,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a lot of opportunity this weekend to support the women this weekend, because women's soccer is going to be hosting Vaughn on Friday, April 4th at 7 p.m. as part of their spring soccer this year. So
you won't see any results of this one either. I don't think it's as advertised as the men's spring league is with the tournament and things like that. It's more of everybody get together, have some matches, same as volleyball that we just talked about. I don't even know. I didn't look up where Vaughn is. This is the first time I've heard of them as a college. So I don't know if they're regionally close or if this is a long way away. But it's something that is drastically needed, is get your team to gel in the off season. And we've seen Chris Grassy take his squad and build on what they were able to do in the spring or when they went to Brazil and play, and then how that helped them as a team when they went into the season. And Coach Rafa Samos is doing the same thing now with the women. And it's they just played West Liberty, and now they're going to be playing Vaughn. So get some of the new pieces that they have, some time to gel as a team, but also some new additions that have come in to everyone get their first look at who we brought in.
Yeah, and there's just been a trend of this, with the spring league, obviously on the men's side, and now on the women's side. There's been a growing trend for year-round soccer.
Yeah,
and if you're not participating in these things, you're really doing yourself a disservice. So
that's right.
It's good for them that they're starting to do this. It's just going to give them, more ammo, more practice, more game experience prior to entering into the fall league. So that'll be at 7 p.m. on Friday. Jumping over to men's soccer, beat Louisville 3-1 in the spring game, and then they're going to be at Ohio State on Saturday at 3 p.m.
Yep, big spring league victory there, 3-1 against Louisville. I did not get to see any who scored the goals. I read it, but I didn't retain it, so I don't have that here. But it was 3 different individual goals that were scored. Nobody got a brace, or nobody got the hat trick or anything like that. Ohio State, always big. They're in the tournament every year, and to go play them at Ohio State, that's going to be a big litmus test, and hopefully we can go up there and get another victory. Seems like maybe it wasn't them that we played, but maybe that's where the finale was when we won the spring league. Maybe it was in Columbus at this stadium. I have to research on that, but we've had success up there, so let's go have some more success.
Yeah. Or did they play at Crew Stadium? I can't remember where they played. Might have been Crew, wasn't it?
It was the Columbus Crew Stadium, I think. Is that? I assume that's where they're playing, but because of the spring league, it might be, it might not, but no matter what, it was in that zip code area. So let's go up there and kick some butt again.
Hey, let's go beat them. Let's go beat them 2 times in a row, shall we?
That's right.
All right, Russ, we're going to jump over to baseball. Lost to Troy 4-3.
Yep.
Then we lost again 4-3 on a walk-off after leading 3-1 late. And then won the finale 6-5 in 11 innings. So we were able to walk away with at least one of those games in that series.
So let's talk about that series before we go up to what's coming up this week. Do you remember what we talked about? Troy being number 17. I think when they actually played the game, we had talked about it that they were ranked 17th, and then when they actually played the game, the graphic said 22nd or 21st or something. But top 25 team. Really good in the Sun Belt. Sun Belt's a great conference. Not yet top to bottom, but the top in the Sun Belt, whoever that is that year, and usually it's similar teams, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. When we said this would be one of those, don't expect that, success might not look like sweeping Troy. I mean, that would have been huge to sweep a ranked team on their field. But I said, we might not even come away with a victory in these 3 games, but we still may be taking the right steps higher and higher. Well, I feel like we did in every single game, even though that we didn't win the series. We didn't win all 3 games. We were close in all 3. We were up in the second game. We did not go away in the other 2 games. So I just want to talk about them real quick. We lost that first one 4-3, but again, that's 1 run. The next game we're up 3-1. Griffin had 7 1/3 innings that he pitched 1 hit ball. 1 hit ball in 7-1. I think he struck out 8. Just an amazing performance. Just happened to give up a run there in the first inning. And then he goes all the way. We're into the 8th inning, and he walks the leadoff guy, strikes the next guy out. Or no, I'm sorry, he didn't walk him. He hit him. He hits the guy, then strikes the next guy out. They take him out and bring in a closer, because now the tying run is at the plate. I feel like even though his pitch count was high, if he didn't hit the first guy and he gets, him out and then he strikes out the next guy, they probably leave him in, for that inning. They bring in Wyrick, the closer. He walks the next 2. That loads the bases. And then they hit a triple and clear the bases. So they get 3 runs. Now they're up 4-3. We come out and have a chance in the 9th inning against them to tie it up or come back. We actually had runners on first and third after an Ethan Murdoch single. And we're knocking at the door. And we just can't get the run in. They got a big strikeout, I think, and then a ground out or a hit batted ball out to end the game. So we've lost 2 games 4-3, and then here we go into the last game and we're down. We're just not playing exactly how we did the time before, and we've given up some runs here and there, and they're up on us. And what happens? We put up a 5 spot, including a 3-run bomb by Ethan Murdoch. And, I've had a running joke on here. I've been calling him the Saskatchewan and then some kind of S name. It started off, called him even though it's not spelled that way, the Saskatchewan Tsunami. And I was going to work through slugger, slammer, swatter, all those things. And the admin for the baseball Herd Baseball Twitter account called him the Saskatchewan Skull Cleaver. So I'm going to go with that one because I like it a lot better. But no, we tied up, and then or maybe we went ahead. Whatever it is, they came back and they tied it up. We ended up winning. What did I say? 6-5.
Yep, 6-5.
Yeah, and that's a ranked opponent on their field in the conference when we had just lost by all 3 games. It's a run differential of 1. We played them tough. I think that we're still earning respect, even though we didn't win the series. We are moving ourselves in the right direction. I like where Coach Bills has us. I like how the pitching is coming together. I like how it's just a couple of things here is, a hit batter and a couple of walks, things like that is, I would rather, both of them suck. Don't get me wrong, but I'd rather have that than, hey, we gave up 3 solo homers, it's one of those things that I think you can definitely build on this weekend coming into what we're doing this week, which I'll turn it back over to you now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I don't follow baseball as closely as you do, and as some other fans. I will say that I have, and I'm happy to admit it, and I hate to admit at the same time that I've actually been more of a baseball fan these last few years since the building of the stadium, actually being able to go to games. I've taken my family to a couple games, and things like that, and actually being more engaged in watching that. This is a team that has, improved over the last 2 years, and this year they're improving, and to lose like they did to Troy is, that's, I hate to say, good losses, but it's a good loss compared to getting spanked, all 3 games. You win one, and you had a chance, really good chance to win one, and a really close one. So that's good. No, I've bought tickets to a few more games, so we're getting into it. And I encourage people, if you haven't gone to a game,
put it this way, like for what you were saying right there, we went down to Arkansas State and we run ruled them in one of our games. We only won the one, but we got blown out in the other 2 games. So this to me was so much better that that you're in the games. Are they more heartbreaking? Yes. But does it give you more confidence that we can do this and we can compete in a terrific conference? Yes, I think so. And losing 4-3, 4-3, and winning 6-5, that shows some grit, determination, and that we have a lot of what we need right here. We're just building on it. And this is the first season that we've actually had an off season in our facility to be able to, to use it and use it as a recruiting tool. I think it's just onward and upward from here.
No, I totally agree. And you're going to see more and more fans. You're going to see more and more involvement. You're going to see, and that's that commitment to the sport that from everybody that's going to help, drive and, we hopefully create a championship team at some point. So, so we talked about Troy. We played Eastern Kentucky on Tuesday, beating them 2-1. In extra innings. I'm seeing a trend here.
Yep.
We like the extra innings. And then we're going to be hosting, at the moment, ranked number 14 Southern Miss. That'll be this weekend. Games are Friday at 6 p.m., then Saturday at 4 p.m., and Sunday at noon. And you can go to herdzone.com, grab your tickets if you don't have them already, and go support this team as they play Southern Miss this weekend.
Yeah. They're either 14th, 13th. I can't remember. It may have been a typo of what I put on there, but top 15. And right now they have perennially been a top 25 team. They've perennially been, when they were in Conference USA, whether they're in the Sun Belt, whatever, they've made it to the NCAA tournament. They've made some noise. They've been highly ranked traditionally. They're just a good program. They have a lot of tradition there. But they're coming to the Jack, and this is our house. We're going to try to build off of this, series against a rated team in Troy at their place, and we're going to come back here and we're going to make some noise here. I'd really, really love to win the series here because you look at coming very close to winning a series against a ranked opponent in the Sun Belt and then winning a series it just seems like not only a natural progression, but also yet another stepping stone for more respect against these powerhouses. Hey, you want to talk about good conference? Like I said, it's Sun Belt softball, Sun Belt baseball. They take it seriously, and you're always going to have some highly ranked squads. It's not just Troy. It's not just Southern Miss. I think we've had 4 different teams ranked in baseball in the top 25, the true top 25, not saying mid-majors, not saying P4, whatever they want to call it, but in the top 25 this year, I think we've had 4 teams. Louisiana is up there year after year.
Right.
Troy is up there. Southern Miss is up there. Coastal Carolina is up there. And when we play them, that's just a higher target for me that I want us to hit. So I'd really, really love to see us come away with at least 2 wins.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing too, like, especially in these type of, in the Sun Belt and these conferences, that, in soccer, as an example, men's soccer, you're going to have multiple ranked teams
Mm-hmm.
year in, year out.
Yep.
Baseball, soccer, you're going to have multiple ranked teams. So if you
Mm-hmm.
can win your conference, not that it's not important in other sports, obviously, but
Right.
in these conferences, you can win your conference or do a deep run in your tournament. I mean, you can finish your year ranked,
Yeah.
just by performing well
Yeah.
in conference. So no, that's always good, and that's what we want, right? At
Yeah.
Marshall, we win championships, so
That's right.
that's what we want to do. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to softball. They started the series against Texas State with a 5-3 win on Friday. They then lost the game one rather, on Saturday 5-3. Then they won the nightcap 5-4 with a walk-off win in 9 innings. And then softball is going to be traveling to Boone for a weekend series against App State Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And all those games start at noon.
Yeah, so let's talk about Texas State. We had come off of sweeping James Madison, then Pitt canceled on us because that's what Pitt does. They cancel. They did it in football and they did it here.
Yep, it's true.
But game one, I went to all three of these, but I had to leave early with my kids on the first game. Really good performance, but we could have done even better. So I felt like, wow, we won 5-3, but I think we were up 5-1 or maybe even 5-0. And it just felt like, man, we are better than Texas State, and they've got an amazing record, and they've got a lot of respect. Like I said, they're ranked real high in the mid-major rankings by D1 softball, and they I think, like I said, I think it's 20-8 coming in. That second game, it seemed like we just gave it to them, 5-3. And then that was the 3:00 game on Saturday. And then, there's a little bit of 30 minutes, 40 minutes or whatever in between games. And, I was out there talking to some fans and talking to some player parents and everything. And that game, the Saturday nightcap, that was one of the best softball games I've ever seen. And I mean, like, the things that had to happen for us to get back there. I mean, 2 different times we're down to the final out. Diamond Leslie hits a 2-run hit up the middle this line drive into the outfield, but it was up the middle into the gap that ties the game up. That had to happen. Kezia Parks makes a diving catch in center field. That had to happen. Chandler Hoskins over in right field makes an equally exciting diving catch, maybe even better of a diving catch. That had to happen. And then what happens? They had a lefty that they were throwing. They brought her in the Friday game in relief. She pitched in the first game on Saturday, and they'd just been taking it to our lefty lineup. They had a game plan and it was working. Don't pitch to these people. Don't pitch to these people. Don't give them anything to hit. What they do, they gave Riley Lucas one to hit. And what did Riley Lucas do? She hit it about 250 feet.
Yep.
And it was over the first row of cars, the first parking lot cars. So, clears the fence, clears the grassy area, clears the first row of cars. And I mean, just crushed it. Knew it when she hit it. So did the entire stadium. She holds on to the bat a little bit, holds it up even as she goes down, like a Statue of Liberty pose, as she's running down the baseline, watching it leave. That place erupted. It's a night game at that point. The lights are going on for the homer and the victory. And so we walk off with a game victory and a series victory in spectacular fashion. Just would not die, would not give the series up, would not give the game up, and Riley Lucas doing Riley Lucas things, because in the Friday game she hit a 3-run jack, and then she hit that game winner. If you remember, she hit 5 home runs the week before to be Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week, and picks up another couple of dingers there. Just mashing it right now.
Right. Yep. What a way to win. I wish I could have been there. So if for those of you who have not attended a softball game, and that's myself included, these games are starting to wrap up. So any games that are left, we need to make sure that we're supporting our girls and checking those games out. So I need to grab my daughters and head down there for a game.
I don't know if that it's the next series when they're here, but Coastal is coming to town. That's going to be a big one. I think that's in mid-April. That might be. I don't think it's. I know it's not this weekend because they're going to Boone, but I don't think it's the next weekend either because I'm fairly certain they're on the road. They are. They're on the road while we're doing the spring game for football. So I think it's the following weekend after that. You'll see Coastal come to town. That'd be a really good one for anyone that's here. Come out, support these girls. It's a fun time, man. I personally, I don't sit up in the grandstand bleachers or the chair backs. I go out and stand beyond the outfield fence. There's a grassy area there. A lot of people lean on or sit on tailgates or lean on cars. Bring camping chairs and sit out there. Bring your own snacks and drinks, and it's just a real fun time. So if you're watching this or you're listening to this, make sure you get to the Dot sometime this year. It's exciting ball. It's faster than baseball. These games are getting over quicker than that, but each individual at bat is quicker as well. So it's fun to watch, man. Bring the kids. Just beware if my kids are there. My kids are a bit much sometimes.
I know how mine are as well. So well, that wraps up Around the Herd, sponsored by Layer 1 Solutions.
Jed, thanks for doing that. Not only as the co-host, but again, Layer 1 Solutions is your company. So is Ignite Link. So both of these things made possible by the sponsorship of that. So again, thank you. And if you don't have anything, I'm going to take us out of here.
Nope, that's all I got for this week, Russ.
All right. Whether you see us at the Jack, whether you see us at the Dot coming up the next time you can be there, or if you see us at the spring game, which I know you will, $5 get you a ticket. We'll be saying, "Go Herd."
Go Herd.
It's the ThunderCast, and we'll see you very, very soon. Probably me and KD. Later.